There's one person in your house your dog would follow off a cliff. And then there's everyone else. Everyone else gets a tail wag, maybe a lick, a polite acknowledgement that they exist. But that one person gets everything. The lean, the stare, the shadow that never leaves their side, the full weight of a dog's emotional world aimed at a single human like a spotlight that refuses to move. If you're that person, you've probably wondered why. If you're not, you've definitely wondered why. And what nobody tells you is that your dog's choice wasn't random, wasn't about food, and was made using criteria so specific that most people in the house never had a real chance. 1. The imprint window decided everything. Between roughly 3 and 12 weeks of age, a puppy goes through what behaviorists call the critical socialization period. During this window, their brain is forming its deepest, most permanent associations about what is safe, what is normal, and who belongs in their world. The human who is most present during this period doesn't just become familiar. They become foundational. Their voice, their scent, their energy, their rhythm of movement gets wired into the dog's brain as the baseline definition of safe human. And that wiring is nearly permanent. This is why dogs adopted as puppies so often bond most intensely with whoever spent the most time with them in those first weeks at home. Not whoever feeds them most now. Not whoever plays with them most today. The person who was there when their brain was still deciding what the world looks like. If your dog chose someone in your house and it seems like nothing will change that, this is likely why. The decision was made before the dog could even understand it was making one. And everything that's happened since has been built on top of that invisible foundation. 2. Energy match matters more than effort. Every human in a household radiates a different emotional frequency. One person is loud, physical, expressive. Another is calm, quiet, predictable. A third is somewhere in between, shifting depending on the day. Your dog reads all of these frequencies constantly, and somewhere in that reading, they find the one that matches their own internal state most closely. A nervous, sensitive dog will almost always gravitate toward the calmest person in the house. An energetic, high-drive dog will often bond most with the person who matches their intensity. It's not about who tries hardest. It's about whose energy feels like home. This is why so many owners are frustrated. They do everything for the dog. Every meal, every walk, every vet visit. And the dog still melts into someone else the moment they sit down. Because effort registers as effort, but energy match registers as belonging. Your dog doesn't pick the person who works hardest for them. They pick the person whose presence requires the least adjustment from their nervous system, the person they can exist beside without any part of their brain having to compensate, translate, or adapt. That's not a choice. That's a recognition. Their system found the frequency it was looking for and locked on. 3. Consistency is louder than affection. Here's the pattern most people miss. The person a dog bonds with deepest is almost never the person who gives the most dramatic affection. It's the person who is the most predictable. Same tone of voice, same energy in the morning, same response to the dog's signals day after day. No sudden mood swings, no unpredictable bursts of intensity. Just a steady, reliable rhythm the dog can set their internal clock to. Dogs don't build trust through big moments. They build it through repetition. 1,000 small, identical interactions that tell the dog's brain this person is safe to depend on because they are the same today as they were yesterday and they will be the same tomorrow. Think about the person your dog chose. chances are that person isn't the most exciting human in the house. They're the most stable one. The one whose behavior is so consistent that the dog has essentially memorized their entire operating pattern. That predictability isn't boring to a dog. It's the highest form of safety they can experience, because a world that behaves the same way every day is a world where nothing bad can surprise you. 4. They chose who respects their language. Every person in your house communicates with your dog differently, and your dog is grading every interaction, silently, constantly. The person who picks up the dog when the dog didn't ask to be picked up loses points. The person who stares with wide eyes and lunges for a hug loses points. The person who calls the dog's name 18 times a day for no reason loses points. The dog doesn't hold grudges about these things, but their brain files each interaction under a simple system. This person understands me, or this person doesn't. The human your dog chose is usually the person who, without necessarily knowing why, communicates in a way that aligns with how dogs process the world. They approach from the side, not head on. They let the dog come to them instead of reaching first. They read the dog's body language and respond accordingly, backing off when the dog signals discomfort, engaging when the dog initiates. Most of the time, this person isn't doing any of this consciously. It's just their natural way of interacting. But to the dog, the effect is profound. This person speaks my language. Everyone else is translating. And given the choice, every dog on earth will choose the person they don't have to translate for. 5. One person becomes the emotional anchor. Once the bond locks in, something shifts in the dog's neurological landscape that makes the attachment almost impossible to redistribute. The chosen person becomes what researchers call the secure base, the emotional anchor point from which the dog processes the entire world. New environment? The dog checks where their person is before deciding whether to explore or retreat. Loud noise? The dog looks to their person first for cues on how to react. Unfamiliar human? The dog positions themselves near their person before engaging. This is the same mechanism that operates between infants and primary caregivers. It's called secure base effect, and it's been documented in dogs with the same experimental methods used to study it in human children. The chosen person isn't just preferred. They're the lens through which the dog interprets reality. Everything is filtered through one question. Is my person calm? Then I'm calm. Is my person worried? Then something is wrong. Is my person here? Then the world is safe. Is my person gone? Then nothing is certain. This is why a dog with a strong single-person bond can seem anxious or lost when that person leaves, even if the house is full of other people who love them. The other people are familiar. They're appreciated, but they're not the anchor. And a boat without its anchor doesn't feel safe no matter how still the water is. What this means, if you're not the chosen one, if your dog chose someone else, I need you to hear this. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's not a ranking of love. It's a neurological lock that was shaped by timing, energy, consistency, and communication style, most of which was decided before anyone in your house was aware the selection process had even started. But here's what you can do. Be calmer. Be more predictable. Let the dog come to you. Respect their signals. And most importantly, give it time. Dogs can form deep secondary bonds that, while different from the primary attachment, carry their own weight and their own warmth. You may never be the anchor, but you can become the harbor they're always happy to see. And for a dog, Being someone's safe place, even the second safest, is no small thing.